Okay, hi guys. Good evening. Uh, Cat over. Shanti Mili relief. We are done. Cat 2025 is done and dusted. I hope there is a sense of relief. There is a sense of okay. Finally, I don't care how it went, good, bad, whatever it is. At least it's over. Um, with that, I'll welcome Shifku, Jijo, Ravi. Welcome to the overall comprehensive analysis. I've been slightly lucky. I was there in analysis of all the slots, so I have had a sneak peek into what every slot has looked like. So I'm lucky from that perspective. But yeah, overall, if I were to ask you all one word to define and describe Cat 25, what would that one word be? Jijo, one
So
word.
you're asking,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, one word to describe Cat 25 is cat. it's a, it's a at the end of the day, uh, it doesn't matter. A lot of people say it's easy, difficult as compared to the previous year, but eventually what matters is this year, right? So it's a percentile game. You have to do better than the rest of the guys. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let me put it that way.
Ravi,
I felt this cat was grumpy.
your favorite cat, right? Over the last decade, you were saying something
Ah,
along those lines.
no, no, no. I mean, my favorite cat was 21, followed by 22. But this was a little, I mean, tiresome. आ
Yeah,
रहा
I,
है
I,
आ
I,
रहा
I,
है आ रहा है पर नहीं
I,
आ रहा है
I
आ रहा
would
है
go
नहीं आ
with I would go with that word, tiresome. It was
रहा
and a test of patience. I think this cat tested patience quite a bit. Shivku, before we get started, one word.
Uh, I think not the quant was not exciting, right? I think very boring. I would say. Uh, DI was a little. I think expected ना कि last time का जो freebie के बाद I think they've gone back to
That
uh,
they'll average it out.
yeah freebies का जमाना हो गया है and I thought uh, verbal they stuck to some logic that they have. So verbal I didn't find is very different from what we have seen. But I thought they toggled between quant and this. So overall, when I walk out, I didn't find it a exciting masti wala cat. जो last time थोड़ा लगा था.
Hmm. So it's interesting to see what students are putting in the chat box. Difficult, traumatic, humbling, calculative, chaos, selection oriented. Uh, I would agree with almost all of them. One of the very few cats where calculator was forced upon us. नहीं यूज करोगे तो
Hmm.
टाइम वेस्ट होगा नहीं यूज कर सी वी हैव इंट्रोड्यूस कैलकुलेटर यू बेटर यूज इट वी विल इंश्योर you use it. That was
He
also
wrote,
one takeaway.
Professor Ram wrote 3 mails emphasizing on that.
Yeah, ये
Please
कैलकुलेटर
do
है
it.
भाई यूज कर लेना.
Mm.
So
True to
forced
his
us.
words.
Yeah, forced us to use it. Okay, maybe we could get started with the overall analysis just to see where we are.
Okay.
So So this is the overall structure. If you have a look at it, and also have a look at it in terms of the LOD and stuff. The overall structure for the three slots. Difficulty perspective. One thing which I'm seeing, Jijo, more or less is VARC is kind of stable. Moderate.
So
I think easy moderate slot one bola hai. I don't know kitna tha. Jijo, what did you say? You say slot one VARC. What
So,
was
so,
your feeling?
so obviously, I did not see slot two and slot three, but what I've
Obviously.
heard from the discussion that I had with the rest of them is that there were a lot many passages, a couple of passages in slot two and slot three were easy to read. I mean, the passages which are very accessible in terms of AI and things like those. So I think what I've heard is people were able to read. I don't think that slot one had such very accessible facets. Of course, there was about music and stuff, but the way in which it was written, I don't think it was that accessible. So,
Yeah,
so that is probably the difference that I said. So I don't know whether it was easy to moderate this.
yeah, I would
Case
agree.
on that. So I think that
Uh,
less.
Though, though one thing that I was hearing, Jijo, from GP and Ravi, both of them were in slot 3. Nobody here from slot 2, but yeah, both of them were in slot 3. Was probably the questions. For us, we said the passages were difficult to read, but questions were, slightly easier. The options were maybe a little easier to eliminate. They were not very confusing. But for slot 3, I think it was good on both fronts, right? Easy to
Uh-huh.
read options also
We
didn't
had best
really.
of both worlds. Easy to read passage, easy to eliminate choices.
Yeah. So maybe the easy to moderate might actually come here. Yeah, I was just about to say that, Jijo.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And even in verbal, it was something like 4 to 5 out of 8 were doable. Hmm. Hmm.
Which I think slot one में भी था. I think 4-5
Right.
verbal was surely doable. And
Hmm.
it was echoing when I was looking at that paper. Jijo ने 1000 बार बोला pro analysis में additional marks नहीं होते हैं verbal. They are not additional marks. I hope students realize that, because I think at least for me, I felt in slot one verbal was a real lifesaver.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
DLR. Okay, so DILR was difficult. I would say slot one was surely difficult, moderate to difficult. हम बोल रहे, I think from a totality perspective, I think DILR was difficult. Uh, both the 5 question sets were scary. If DILR was if DILR was a RC, then this is the face that Jijo would have created for that RC. Not happy. Slot one surely, I think slot one, I don't think had a sitter. I think even if you look at that import export wala set, the radar chart, you needed to do a little bit of work there. The radar chart was not very easily visible. There were, points which were coinciding, lines which were coinciding. Doubt ho raha tha beech beech mein ki whether I'm reading it correctly or not. So slot one, I didn't really find any sitter. Slot two, we
Jijo
did
was saying
hear.
the color itself couldn't make out, which was Indian, which was US.
अच्छा वो कलर ही नहीं
Yeah.
दिख रहा. Okay.
So it's probably because of my specs. I don't know. It was not. Yeah, I realized that. I think Shivku was saying it was green. India's green. I thought India was light blue. So I was so I was searching for light blue. Light blue is like India is importing to India. The light blue. So that's like painful to do.
Yeah, so I think very important from that perspective. What about slot 3 and 2, Ravi, GP,
Yeah, I
DLR?
think in slot 3 DILR, from what I've heard from other slots in slot 1 and slot 2 from your analysis, I felt on that front, slot 3 with DILR may be a question or two easier than the first two slots in that sense, because all the 4 question sets in the slot 3 DILR were doable. There was not much to do. In fact, for example, if you just simply compare GB, there was one sitting arrangement in slot 1 in which people were facing inward and outward
Yeah.
too, right? Some
No,
inward,
not
some
in
out.
what order.
No, no,
No,
no.
they were
Circle,
traveling
Yeah,
clockwise and
clockwise.
anti-clockwise.
clockwise and
Clockwise.
anti-clockwise movement tha. They were all facing. Nothing was mentioned, so you can take facing inwards. Yeah.
ओके, यहाँ पे फेसिंग इनवर्ड्स ही था, सब लोग 7 लोग फेसिंग इनवर्ड्स था. 4 पॉइंट दिए थे, मतलब एक छोटा सा टेबल दिया था, उनका मूवमेंट कोई पासिंग द बक काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग इट वाज, राइट? So it was easier. I mean, it was not a very difficult set to do. Similarly, the graph that we had, from the face of it, it is a graph that you have not seen before. Okay. No one represents that kind of data like that unless they are forced to at point blank. Okay. वो
Unless
4
unless
लोग
you're a
का
consult,
graph
uns-
था
uh,
वो.
unless you're a consultant, na? So then you're
Same thing, Jijo. Forced at
Right.
point blank range.
Yeah. So that is a graph that will throw you, मतलब that will that is a graph that you will not feel very comfortable reading at first, at the first look. But if you read the setup and just go to the question paper button, read the setup and read the graph, और देखो ग्राफ के बाद तुरंत क्वेश्चन है और पांचों क्वेश्चन डेफिनेट आंसर्स है, चारों क्वेश्चन डेफिनेट आंसर्स है, फिर तो मतलब लगाओ टाइम, इट वाज डूएबल, राइट? सो इन दैट सेंस वी हैड at least 2 out of 3 4 question sets were definitely doable without a doubt. So, and ऐसा भी नहीं कि उसमें बहुत मेहनत करके जाना है. फॉर एग्जांपल आपके इसमें जो एक डीआई आया था रेडार चार्ट वाला, जिसमें आपको मेहनत भी करना है और मतलब वो निकलेगा भी तो 12-13 मिनट में निकलेगा. In our paper, there are a couple of sets which can be solved in 10 minutes, under 10 minutes. So in that sense, I think slot 3 was at a little disadvantage because our paper was easy and we will lose marks in scale.
I like the way you put it. I like the way you put it.
Our paper was not easy by any means. Our paper was easier as compared to what I have heard from slot 1. Okay?
But Ravi, the problem is in DILR, most of the students have not attempted the graph. In my center, I was on the top floor, Adarsh Pariksha Vidyalay, जो भी था इसमें top floor में एकदम कोने पे था, so I was among the last 10 people to walk out of the center. I talked to quite a few students. People have not attempted the graph.
Because the graph was something that you are not familiar with. But if you put effort,
yes, but if you read the graph, you will become familiar, na?
So that is what I am saying. So I think I think they have found a good mix of questions in DILR. I would, but because challenging भी है, logically challenging भी था और थोड़ा tiresome भी था. जो बहुत आसान था वो दिखने में आसान नहीं था, बट तुमको उसमें घुसने के बाद पता चलेगा तुमको आसान था. तो जो एंटायर सिलेक्शन वाला जो ये होता है कि मैं ये वाला सेट करूंगा बेस्ड ऑन फेमिलियरिटी is not a very good strategy in this paper at all. I mean, only based on familiarity अगर आप वो choice ले रहे हो, then it is not a good strategy at all. Yes, you would have to spend 2 to 3 minutes on each set to understand कि वो कहाँ लेके जाना चाह रहा है और कहाँ जा रहा है.
So maybe this is what y'all are saying. I think Kashvi is basically telling us what a lot of students might have felt for slot 3 का ये वाला graph.
एकदम यही सही बोल रहा काशवी ने. That is what most of the students see. सर ग्राफ देख के समझ नहीं आया. अगर बस only देख के तो कुछ नहीं समझ आएगा.
You know, it was not even 2 graphs one after the other. There were 2 graphs side by side. और वो पूरा क्वेश्चन पेपर उस स्क्रीन में फिट नहीं हो रहा था. Unless you open the question paper, मैंने पूरा वो सेट क्वेश्चन पेपर बटन से सॉल्व करना पड़ा.
वो अपना रेडार चार्ट भी ऐसा ही था ना. अपना radar chart was also not fitting. We had to use the scroller.
Keep scrolling.
Question paper. But I'll also point this out. This was also a good paper to use the question paper button here. I don't know whether you all used it or not. DILR में तो बहुत use किया.
I had to use
verbal, English and which is VARC and DILR is only question paper button. I don't even go to the platform at all. जब एक बार मेरे को आंसर्स मार्क करने थे तो मैंने I wrote down all the answers while reading the passages and then at the end I went there and marked the answers. So to me,
so that's the place I was coming. That's the place I was coming. Question paper button अगर कर रहे हो, don't do it one set at a time, because then when you're at the 4th set ना, it again starts right from the beginning and you need to scroll
down. If I changed the bottom, this time it was not the case. I realized it because मेरे को हमेशा when it would start from where I left, because English करते हुए I checked it a couple of times कि यार कितना time बचा है, because when I have the question paper button I can't see the timer and it would start, it would go back, and that same thing happened in DILR also.
अच्छा, हमारे साथ I tried that in DILR. It didn't happen with me. I had to go back each time. I was coming down from the first set. Shivku, remember we were discussing this right after the paper.
Yeah.
There is one thing that I'm looking at question paper button out of my choice of comfort. Another thing, I'm forced to look at question paper button because the data is not fitting into the sheet. I mean, how can you create a test wherein you are giving a data that I have to scroll left and right to read. I mean, I think the TCS or whatever, the TCS conduct the test should at least ensure. See, with the
Jijo,
I,
NMAT has been doing this for the last 15 years.
same thing.
Yes, 15 years. Even this year. And not just for DILR, even for VARC. You need to scroll up and down and left and right. And NMAT then gives you a pop-up. NMAT also gives you a pop-up. Each time you go to solve, it says, you cannot answer. You have not scrolled up and down. So scroll only, then I will let you answer. So they are better than GMAC. Let's put it that way. TCS is better than them at least.
All right. Okay. So what about quant? I think it's been moderate across. I think
it is moderate to difficult, Jijo. Difficult only because it is tiresome, lengthy.
Yeah,
Across
lengthy.
the board, I think I've heard the same. It is moderate to
Lengthy.
I mean, in the first six questions I solved, there were 2 questions that I was very confident कि हाँ ये आंसर है तो है ये. बाकी क्या है ये √3 क्या है ये मजा नहीं आ रहा था क्वांट करने में.
This was not a quant paper. This was a paper to check your calculator using skills.
But इसमें एक और था कि people who banked on arithmetic and saying कि arithmetic will take us through. I think they would have actually been at the receiving end, because many arithmetic questions were long and I think not easy, I would say. If somebody had done at least a little bit of algebra, right, I think they would have survived.
And numbers.
It's a little more easy.
You know, everybody has this thing
numbers.
of reading numbers, and they come and state, sir, numbers padha nahi hai. Last 1 month to ZAT mein we will study numbers, because numbers comes a lot in ZAT. I think it's a clear-cut indicator.
The larger problem in this paper is you will not realize the merit of the question until you've spent 1.5 minutes in the question. For example, there was a question I slot which was, there are 2 containers. One has 60 liters of alcohol, another has 60 liters of water. You take some quantity out of container 1 and put it in container 2. You take the same quantity out of the second container and put it back in container 1. ठीक है? यहाँ तक तो ये बहुत ही अपना रेगुलेशन मिक्सचर्स का क्वेश्चन है. हाँ, अपन देख रहे हैं ऑप्शंस में कि हाँ दिखना चाहिए. नंबर 1 ऑप्शन नहीं था. दूसरा, the ratio after this operation in container A was 15:4. 15:4 is 19 parts for a 60 liter mixture. मैं एकदम गुस्सा ही आ गया वो क्वेश्चन देख के. तो या तो मैंने क्वेश्चन ही गलत पढ़ लिया, पता नहीं.
नहीं यही था, एकदम यही था.
Correct. So no, I said yeah, 90 and it was theta again. तो ऐसा भी नहीं कि 4 ऑप्शन है मैं 20 लीटर निकाल के देखूं वापस डालूं, ऐसा कुछ. It was not giving me that kind of freedom. फ्रीडम नहीं था ये पेपर में कि मैं कुछ कर दूं यार, आज चलो मजा आ गया वाला. वो नहीं था क्वांट में.
all right.
एक आध क्वेश्चन में ऐसे लगा कि बस स्क्रीन को तोड़ दूं, जैसे पाकिस्तानी क्रिकेट.
I really didn't like that question in slot 1. There was this one na morning and afternoon, and then कोई ratio given था, and then 21 students move from morning to afternoon, and then evening comes in the ratio.
Girls and boys वाला ना.
And then evening slot आता है, and now they join again in a ratio 3:8. मतलब 3, you are making us do the same operation thrice.
तो ये जो मॉक्स बनाते वक्त I mean, we used to get so much of feedback from at least internally also. ये बहुत making us do things in a mechanical manner. I think I somehow see there is a trend in the last couple of years of mocks CAT कि ये जो गधा मजदूरी वाला questions ना, there have been more of these in the recent past than what it used to be there about maybe 10 years back or 6 years back.
I think since 22 साल में तो होगा. 22 से बहुत ऐसे मजदूरी वाले बहुत आते.
ये कोविड हो गया ना. COVID has impacted the question setter.
So now if we move on, if I look at these are the ideal. This is This talks about the ideal attempts for CAT 2025. Yes. So when it's ideal, we are saying for
Net
roughly
correct.
net correct. No? So this will be roughly close to about the 99th percentile is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we should uh, clarify 99 percentile के लिए है.
Hmm.
But
This,
मेरे को लगता है VRC in 12 to 13 might be a little on the lower side. My
ये थोड़ा
personal
ऊपर
feeling
जाता
is it is going to be higher.
Maybe 13, 14, but
Maybe
I don't
13,
think,
14. हाँ,
yeah, I don't think
this is
it'll
likely
cross
to be
that for
13,
sure.
14. DILR quant वही 9, 10, 8, 9, 9 ठीक है मेरे ख्याल से. So 25 plus and both should be good enough.
I wanted to share what Rahul had written. I have just put it on the screen. This is what Shivku was basically stating. Rahul is saying, really feeling bad. I should have followed CL mocks. I left it midway because it was demotivating for me. And this is
Rahul, you have
basically
that
what
in
he was
front of
stating.
you. That के लिए miss मत करना.
Yeah.
ये तो
and
हो गया.
this,
इसके लिए you have to move on now.
so this is sort of our looking at in terms of slot one. So at about VRC 99%, I think this should be more or less similar to how it was kind of last year. So
Yeah.
slot one, slot two, slot three.
Yes.
I think we have not added 2024 here in this slide. Okay. But that's okay. So this, I think it'll be slightly higher. They're definitely thereabouts.
So Jijo, the objective was overall, it seemed like this paper was similar to 22, 23, or maybe, somewhere
Okay.
between them. So hence we just tried to compare it with those 2 years because 24 was overall perspective slightly easier.
Correct. So then, if you're basically looking at some cutoff levels, it's about 23-ish, and I think about 12, 13-ish, and about a similar thing for example QA. That's about 85. Obviously, there are some colleges where the cutoff is lower than that. If you want to get to the very top, you're looking at something that's close to about 40-ish in the VRC. DLR across board is about 26-ish, and very close to about QA, very close to about 28-ish. And this time overall it's going to be definitely lesser than last year. I think that we are going back to the somewhere between 23 and 22. We are looking at something in the range of 80s to get to the 99 percentile plus, and of course, and then about 50s in the 90 percentile plus. Yeah.
See, I feel the gap between the 85th and the 95th percentile will be lower. Will be probably lower in slot 3. I mean, because वो एक आध सेट तो करने लायक था ही. Whether you pick
You're
that
talking about,
वाला or
DLR.
DILR. So in that section especially, वो एक 4 questions तो करने लायक थे ही. So even in our analysis GB first impressions, when we asked students about how many questions did they attempt confidently, none of them answered less than 4, because they had everyone had picked at least one set of those 4 जो बनने हैं, right? So in that sense, I think 85th may go a little higher, maybe a little higher towards 14, 15, but 95th के ऊपर जाना, वो 95th 20 के ऊपर जाना is probably not there. I mean, even if you attempt 8 questions with confidence, you get 7 correct, 1 wrong, you're landing at that 20 marks level. So the gap between the percentiles will be much more skewed, but the sectional cutoffs percentiles I think in both, especially in DILR, in slot 3, I feel will be probably 1 or 2 marks higher than the other 2 slots.
I think my only takeaway from this paper would be all of those who came out of the hall thinking life is over, CAT didn't go well. Now I will have to look at ZAT or CAT 26 and all. Yes, please look at ZAT even now. But even if you've gotten about 4 or 5 questions and your accuracy is good, I will not be surprised if both in quant and DILR your sectionals are met. I think that part I think should give you a little bit of confidence कि अगर मैंने verbal कर लिया, and I think GP was stating this in the slot 3 analysis, that the game changer here in this paper is going to be verbal. If you've done verbal well and your quant and DILR, you've just done enough to ensure sectionals, which means even if 4 or 5 questions are done, do not be surprised if your sectionals are hand. I don't remember which year it was, Ravi, but there was a year where 80 percentile was, I think, at 12 and 85 was at 13 and 90 was at 15 in DILR.
Correct.
Right? शायद यहाँ पे कहीं हो भी
2022 या
Yeah, no,
21
यहाँ पे
22
Yeah,
में
yeah
It's-
correct exactly. So 12 to 13, if you look at 80 to 85. If it was 1 mark.
Actually, at a scale score of 13.5, it was 86 percentile in CAT 22. I remember this because of a student. She had attempted only 4 questions in the DILR section. Raw score of 12 became 13.5, and she just cleared the 85 percentile cutoff, and she's passed out of the last year. She would have passed out from IIM.
So I think I will not be surprised if something very similar happens this time कि एक mark में ना 5 percentile बढ़ रहा है at that cutoff range. मतलब I will not be surprised if 75 to 85 might actually jump in 2 marks. Okay. I think we will see a lot of bunching happening at that range. So all of you who've done those 4 or 5 questions, if your accuracy is good, I think do not, underestimate how CAT has gone.
I think what we are saying would
scorecard might surprise you.
Yeah, what we are saying would be much more evident if we look at 2024 का data, because there was उतना bunching नहीं था. लोग ऐसे जा रहे. People were able to score as high as 60 marks in DILR, right? So that was there, but I think going beyond 40-45 odd marks in this paper was very difficult in DILR. Last year there was a topper to reach probably 50-55 marks. So, this year
मतलब 5 set possible थे यार last year 5 set देख इधर इस year तो 4 set is also going to be a challenge.
Correct.
Huge challenge.
I think there's one important question that Arunava Mitra is asking: is the normalization only done on total, or each section individually is normalized and the total is obtained from that?
Each section is normalized.
Each section.
And overall score is also normalized separately.
Correct.
So individual section is normalized, overall score is also normalized by that formula that is there in the website.
Correct. Yeah. It's almost double normalization.
Overall भी होता है क्या? I think it's only the section.
No, sorry. Overall नहीं होता है. Section, each section is normalized and it is added to the overall.
The overall is the function comes out of that.
Yeah, correct.
Overall score is a function of the individual sectional scores.
So very, very likely that so slot for VRC perspective, slot 3 we are saying is likely going to be scaled down. Slot 1 is likely going to be scaled up. DILR we don't know, and QA we really don't know. More or less anything goes. Is that what we're saying?
I think slot 3 maybe DILR basis what Ravi and GP were saying. There may be a chance that even that gets scaled down a little, maybe by a question.
My guess is in slot 3, both verbal as well as DILR will get scaled down. Maybe by 1.5, 2 marks only, but my guess is both will get scaled down.
But I think quant में बढ़ेगा GP अपना.
हो सकता है वो.
That is possible.
I mean, see, as I am a very experienced test taker, and I generally go into the quant section with all guns blazing. There were only 7-8 questions I felt confidently I answered. बाकी तो ठीक है होगा 54 करके मार्क किए वाले भी है, right? So I think बहुत ही टफ लगा मेरे को quant personally at a personal level I felt quant was the toughest section among all the 3 in slot 3.
देखो रवि इसमें ना quant was, I will again repeat, मुश्किल से ज्यादा it was that painful part. ठीक है, ठीक है. Though there was still, I would say, there were questions जहाँ पे हम लोग जुगाड़ वगैरह लगा के देख सकते हैं उसके अंदर and उसका and वहां से निकलेगा. But to me the biggest pain point was the kind of numbers they were giving, which forced you to use a calculator.
Correct.
ठीक है. Don't ultimately, if calculator is so important, that means it is not a test of my knowledge, logic, or understanding. It's a test of my calculation skills. Yeah. So that is something which I find very, very stupid in this paper. इसमें. Yeah. But ठीक है. They have decided. Yeah. But रवि, उसमें जो है ना, जो तुम 15:4 वाला बोल रहे थे, उसमें मेरे को वही हिंट दिखा था उसमें. That means जो निकाला जाएगा ना, वो इतना निकालो कि अगला वाला से फिर 19 का मल्टीपल हो जाए. तो my starting point in that question was check for 19 for the 76 ना, तो 16 ऐड करो. So 60 liters alcohol में से 16 liters को निकाल दो, and that should because that becomes 44, other becomes 76. Now you add back. So I checked it with respect to that, though I did not complete it because my purpose was कि मैं पूरा पेपर देख लेता हूँ. My guess is that 16 liters should be the right answer.
टीटा था जी कि पता नहीं मैं क्या लिख के आया क्या है.
नहीं, टीटा तो था, बट उसको अगर चेक करना है ना, मैं उधर है because ये 15:4 is such a stupid number कि 15:4 तभी आएगा जब तुम्हारे टोटल जो है after you're transferring to the other side is a multiple of 19.
Correct. That's what I mean. The ratios वाले question B, the ratio was 37:20 and 17:7. After transferring 108
वो देख के मूड ऑफ हो जाता है.
Yes, that entire question I solved only, मतलब कैलकुलेटर में डालता गया 2 मिनट में आ गया.
So there was this thing that Shadow Coelho just put on something to do with the UI. I personally didn't face it in my
Even UI was fine as far as I am concerned. I did not have any issue.
मुझे भी इतना वो नहीं लगा. In fact, that's why I brought it up.
My screen didn't flicker either.
The only place where I thought UI was really bad for me was that
Radar chart.
graph.
Yeah.
That
I don't think it's a UI problem. It's like
it is a system problem.
They could not draw a beautiful diagram. It's like color.
No, they didn't draw the grid lines properly. They never bothered to check the colors.
No, but this magnified UI and flickering screen, I think that's a system issue. That particular system में zoom ज़्यादा होगा, that particular system में flicker कर रहा होगा. That is not a UI issue.
It could be very simple. A monitor उसका खराब है.
Correct. So we would not want to do that in our mocks. You can do it at your end. Please take mocks in 4 different systems. एक जो बहुत खराब है, एक जो अच्छा है. It will be difficult for us to do that. But yeah.
I think it also has to do with the aspect ratio of the screen in which you are
correct
practicing. Okay, all these exam center monitors are the same aspect ratio. Your laptop aspect ratio may be a little different. उसमें तुमको वो शायद वो दोनों फिट होके दिखेगा, right? वो एग्जाम सेंटर में वो दोनों साइड बाय साइड नहीं दिख रहा था. You had to open the question paper button, right? So go for a monitor like that.
By the way, on a different one, the number of pages of that the cutoff sheet was less compared to previous year.
I have the rough sheet. I carried it.
You have the
yeah.
तो वापस नहीं किया मेरे से?
मेरे को 2 दे दिए. एक ले लिया, एक ले आया.
तुम्हें मालूम होगा ना गौतम, they would know कि तुझे 2 चाहिए होते हैं.
There were 28 pages in mine.
आधा भी नहीं यूज किया वैसे तो जीपी. But I went to the एक मुझे दिया था, वॉशरूम एक और रखा हुआ था. Yeah, it does. It has 20 pages actually, not 28. 10 on both sides.
मेरे को 28 मिला. I counted at the beginning.
मैं गिनता हूँ 3 4 5 6 7 8. आप लोग बात करो, मैं काउंट कर रहा हूँ तब तक.
24. My count was 24 this year.
But हमारे में ना लाल सेंटर
it is 24.
गौतम
उसका मल्टीपल ऑफ
Gautam, in our center at the end, there was an announcement which was continuously happening. So of all the investors, सब पेन और कलेक्ट
पेन है,
करो, मैं कहता
सर्वर रूम लेके आओ, सर्वर रूम लेके
हाँ,
आओ. We were
इतना
in the same
घटिया पेन
center.
कौन लेके जाएगा यार? It was such a stupid पेन जो ठीक से काम नहीं कर रहा था, and they are bothered about that. कोई नहीं लेके जाएगा यार तुम्हारा पेन.
So Saita, so I have the sheet in case anybody needs to do any analysis. It is with me.
Gautam, we need to create this for our students
Yeah, sure.
next year, so that they should get used to working for DILR and quant, especially in these kind of sheets.
Done.
So GP, in the beginning, I wanted to figure out how the length and breadth. So मैंने ऐसा हाथ लगा के इसको एक लाइन डाला है, अभी भी ये लाइन डाला. So like this and like this. So I have 2 lines to check.
ये स्टैंडर्ड A3 नहीं है क्या?
A3 है.
A4
So
तो हाँ,
A3.
eventually, A5, A5, yeah.
सॉरी A5, हाँ A4 को फोल्ड कर दो, आ जाएगा ये वाला.
हाँ.
A5 को फोल्ड करके काटना भी पड़ेगा. It's opening like this.
Correct.
Okay, so what is?
ठीक है, चलो. पहले चीज तो यार, I hope students have applied for that. जिन्होंने नहीं किया, please कर लो यार. And especially those of you who have struggled with DILR या quant, remember DM में इतना मुश्किल DILR quant नहीं आता है. Their quant is much more sensible. Last 5-6 years, make sure you attempt DILR ZAT के papers of the last 5-6 years. Let's say 2018.
Barely any LR, barely. Mostly
हाँ, but DI के 2-3 सेट आते हैं, एक आध आ जाता है उसमें.
Yeah.
So 3 sets of 3 questions roughly, and 20 odd questions or 18 questions of quant. And you will have about 1 hour, you will have more than 70 odd minutes to do quant if you look at that paper. तो आराम से हो जाता है.
Another thing about that is the first section is called VALR, verbal ability and logical reasoning. That logical reasoning is critical reasoning.
Yes.
It has got nothing to do with DLR or logical reasoning. So it is VALR. And I think this particular paper is that hardly there is every year there will be 2 grammar questions which you can out of as a feeling you can mark, and then 2
and 1 or 2 vocab.
About 2 vocab, but it's a sentence completion. You have to put a word, but the rest everything is like comprehension based. So whatever you are prepared for CAT is enough, largely, and then
there'll be a poem.
1 poem, but it's still comprehension. I mean,
but इस बार भी पूछा है ना, contextual words तो पूछा है इस वाले अपने slot में.
Democratization. Sui generis. What does it mean?
Sui generis, democratization. I mean, context.
ये तो हमारे में भी थे ऐसे वाले.
Instantialization.
The one about the alien. When you're talking about doctors,
alienization.
Something there. वो देख के मुझे लगा अच्छा एग्जैक्ट टाइप का लगा पेपर.
So just one thing, guys, do use the score calculator, because at this point in time, what we are stating with respect to cutoffs is basis a little bit of our understanding and whatever data has flown in till now. More data flows in, more robust the model will become, and better prediction we'll be able to do, which will eventually help you understand how to go about the next 1 month. So do go ahead and use that, careerlauncher.com/cat. Please go ahead and fill in your respective data for your respective slot. Please don't miss out on it.
So one of the important thing about understanding. So that is, so I think in the next week, before next week, you will get the response sheet. You will know your score. But to get an understanding of percentile, I believe is a good idea, because the eventual actual result is going to come in the month of January. Immediately in 1 week, you will start getting calls from a lot of these B schools. So if you're done well in CAT and not converting the call, it will be horrible. So if I know what are the kind of likely percentile that I'm going to get, it gives you additional time in terms of starting your preparation for your GDPI prep. So I think that understand the CAT percentile predictor would be a very good idea. That's what I would recommend. So please do submit as soon as you come, and then we'll obviously pick up your data, and we'll use we'll kind of make a prediction in terms of what is your CAT percentile is. and I think that we have our prediction over the years have been fairly accurate, at least from 70 about 80% and above. Okay, so that's always been very fairly accurate. So that's something that I believe that you should definitely use.
Anirudh, the QA slot 2 analysis were done in the slot 2 paper. I think overall similar to what we've said in slot 1 and slot 3. Algebra, the questions, were not straightforward, though there were a couple of faculty who did state that they were able to crack it, but they were not straightforward. So if you've gone ahead and had your 4 or 5 questions that you've gone ahead and attempted, you should be very close to a sectional cutoff. And so it's very, very similar to what you heard for 1 and 3. So not much to worry about. And others who
Yeah.
are talking about an NMAT strategy, snap strategy, others, guys, we've done all those sessions. It's on YouTube as we speak. Please go ahead and have a look at that. I think it's very, very important. It will help you. Also, tomorrow we have a session on CAT is over, what next, where we'll go ahead and discuss NMAT, SNAP, SAT, all 3 of them. So do catch us for that as well. I think that is something that will help you. Jiro, this one's for you.
Yeah.
And Shivku, must say no one was able to match the level of CL mocks, especially in VARC. So I think well done to the File app, well done to the content team, and well done to you, Jijo and Shivku. I think well done from the students basically.
It is only after post cat you realize.
पोस्ट फैक्ट ही होता है ऐसे. Oh, during it was ये क्या है? This is not cat
ये
kind
क्या
of.
है, right? This is
But
not
that
cat.
is also, and but Shivku, that is also because after the paper, every paper looks easy. When we give this CAT 25 paper to students who are preparing for CAT 26, बोलेंगे बहुत आसान पेपर है, because that exam pressure is not there. तो पेपर के दौरान तो हमेशा सब कुछ मुश्किल ही होता है.
Yeah. Maybe 1 or 2 slides going forward, Jijo. I think we've spoken a little bit about ZAT and PDP.
Sure.
So this is basically something that you all can look at. Yeah, Jijo, what do you?
So I'm basically saying that the reason why it took the CAT is because to get into the top B school, the story is not yet over. We still have other exams that is left, and each of the exam, I think by and large, CAT will take care of a lot of things, and I'm sure that you can watch the video tomorrow. It doesn't what extra you might need for ZAD or what extra you might need for NMAT. So that is that's one. Okay. So that is sort of one immediate thing. So so that is at least one. So you have to take other exams now, and then your other thing is you have to convert the calls. I mean, so it is one part of the journey. You still have to convert the call. And converting the call, you're actually competing with people who have done really well now, right? So it's no longer like the CAT, and it's converting the call involves your sort of personal interview, the VAT, and some other colleges go GDPI. I think that preparing for this is going to be crucial, and the earlier you start, the better it is, and which is why, like I told in the previous case, this one, which is your the score calculator and the percentile predictor will be a good idea in terms of starting your prep, right? And then we obviously have the personal development program. There are various versions, including mentorship. You can get mentorship from the people you see on the screen. And then otherwise, you look at preparing for non-CAT exam should be something that you should do, whether it's something that went beyond expectation or not, and give it a try next year. I mean, okay, that's something that you'll have to decide based on the outcome of this particular test. What is that your course of action is? But now, what is important, we still have that. Some of you, I think that everybody, if you're looking at the top college, you have to take the ZAT, okay? And then you probably will have NMAT as an exam or a SNAP as an exam to do. That's one. This is for all. I think almost all. Let me put it that way. And then the second thing is you are converting the call. if you get a call, if you don't convert now, like for all the effort that you did, you went 2 hours listening, solving all those stupid math problems, and then somebody called you, please come, we have an interview, and if you don't convert, it's all. I think that you seriously should look at taking help, and I think that this is going to be important so for next stage. So therefore, again, I'm saying that this particular part about your score calculated percent particular will be very, very useful. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Yeah. Just a couple of slides, Jijo, post this. So in case any of y'all, because this is the time, you need to hit the foot to the pedal. You've got about a month to go. In case you feel, हाँ अभी भी और कुछ करना है, I need a little bit more assistance. You've got JAT 26 online classes. If you're classroom students of Career Launcher, please go to your closest center. There are sessions that are happening there as well. Please go ahead, attend those sessions, irrespective of where you are. If you're a classroom student, walk in. If you're an online class student, it will be a part of your course. If you've done neither, go ahead and look at something which will go ahead and supplement your preparation. It is something that is going to be very helpful. And like Jijo has pointed it out here, if you're a classroom student, please keep this in mind. It's a part of your course. Don't be stupid by not doing it. I have no other words. I think it will be stupidity if you don't go to your class center, your closest center, whichever center you've enrolled in, and you don't attend these classes. I think it will be stupidity. Take whatever help you can get. Even if CAT has gone off very, very well, XLRI is right there. There are a lot of people who leave a Lucknow and an FMS and go to XLRI. There are people who even state BNC की जगह Excel में जाऊं क्योंकि मेरे को specifically HR करना है या मेरे को specifically product के role में जाना है. So those questions do come up every year. We have students, we have mentees who ask us that. It's a very, very important exam. And one more thing I'll add is the ZAT application form is still open. It is open till the 5th. So in case you've missed it, or in case you thought मैं नहीं भरूंगा, I hope this has been an eye opener. Go fill it. Even now you can go ahead and do it. So go ahead, look at some sort of help that you can get. In case you've not enrolled anywhere else, you can scan this QR code. We've got a ZAT online classes course, which is starting day after tomorrow with GP session, where you'll take an intro to ZAT. So do keep that in mind. And then, like Jijo pointed out, which is there, in the next slide, if things are sorted, at least one of the exams is something that you're going to go ahead and handle. Do look at a PDP course. Again, if you're a classroom student, please keep in mind, PDP course is already a part of your curriculum. Walk into your closest center, walk into your center, have a chat, go ahead, have a look at it. But in case you've not enrolled anywhere, or you want to look at a personalized program, you want to get mentored by Jijo or a GP or Shifku, Ravi, me, do look at the PDP personalized program. Once again, a QR code is here. Do it. As simple as that. So ZAT का competition मत बढ़ाओ. I like that.
मैं कहने वाला था कि competition है इसीलिए हम कह रहे हैं. Don't assume कि कम नहीं है.
Utsav DM1000 is live. It's a redux. It's the same, from the videos perspective. These are the older videos that Jijo and GP have gone ahead and shot. Live classes will be all new. The mentors here on the screen, one of us will keep coming in for the live classes. So in case you're looking at specific help for DM, you can go ahead and have a look at that as well. That's basically it. I think we've kind of gone ahead and covered everything we needed to. Do go ahead and join tomorrow's session where we're going to talk about CAT is over, what next. If you are looking for very specific inputs on NMAT, SNAP, ZAT, or GDPI preparation, please, two things I want to add with respect to GDPI before I round it off and then over to you all. One, please keep in mind colleges like, Great Lakes, they actually had their interview in December last year. Great Lakes interviews were in December. IIM Lucknow interviews, if I'm not wrong, 20th and 21st ko shuru ho gaya tha January, which means you're basically looking at about 50 days before IIM Lucknow interviews start. And if you're looking at
so if you start after the call, you'll have just about 2 weeks on the outside.
Correct. In fact, if I'm not wrong, Lucknow, I think calls came on 12th or 13th and interviews started on 21st. It was just about 7-8 days me interview started and it will happen at some location. Last year it happened, I think, at Delhi, Noida. There was a year before when it happened, I think, in Bombay, Jijo, if I'm not wrong, a couple of years back. So the same thing might go ahead and happen, as you go ahead, depending on where you are. So please don't delay this decision. Please don't delay your preparation. In case you're one of those, you've seen the score to percentile map that we've come up with. Please keep in mind you're a non-engineering female. अगर आपका 65 प्लस आ रहा है, 95 परसेंटाइल प्लस होगा, 10 and 12 is sorted with 90, please start your preparation. You will get calls. If you're a non-engineering male, similarly 70, 72 plus, similar profile, start. Engineer 80, 85 plus, start. Look at it from that perspective and kickstart your preparation. Don't delay it. That's the only thing that I would go ahead and add. That's it from my end.
अरविंद
All
का
the
लगता है
best. Yeah, Shishir.
नॉस्टैल्जिया है, कैट डे का नॉस्टैल्जिया है अरविंद का.
अच्छा,
आई नो कि लोग दोबारा कैट लिखते हैं. ये तो कैट डे एनालिसिस के लिए भी आ गया अरविंद. गुड अरविंद, गुड टू सी दैट.
nice.
चलो.
Actually, engineer female similar engineer female 78, 80 plus. Old student, it seems like, GP Arvind, one of your.
I'm not able to place him.
2022.
I am Trichy, 24.
So graduated in 24 means 22 mein ghusa, so wrote CAT 21. So maybe a CAT 21 student.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Chalo.
Perfect. That's it from our end. Hope you had a good day. Just one last thing. Jaisa bhi gaya, go to sleep, get up tomorrow, forget CAT. Focus on the upcoming 30 days.
देखो
It's done.
चेंज नहीं कर सकते. Look for, go ahead and अगले पेपर की तैयारी करो. ये तो जो होना था हो गया है. And I'll repeat what Gautam said. If you think you have a reasonable chance of getting a call from an institute which you would be happy joining, please don't delay your PDB preparation. Please start ASAP because time नहीं मिलेगा उसके लिए and then बहुत तकलीफ होती है. Quant गया तो फिर भी किया हुआ है, but when it comes to interviews, most of us have not been through interviews, so we don't know what exactly it is all about. चलो फिर, let's close the session. And Gautam, एक चीज अच्छी हो गई, India finally जीत गया आज.
Yes, first victory against South Africa in this series. And this is the first match I haven't watched. I don't want to get into correlation now.
You had the best plot for the cricket match point of view.
I thought the same. It's just that I have been in every analysis since morning. So this was my seventh. This was my seventh analysis. And if I take the first impression, this is my 10th session of the day. So I have YouTube hangover. I want a couple of days off YouTube.
इसीलिए मुझे slot 2 and slot 3 अच्छे लगते हैं.
Yeah.
ये भी आपको पता चला पिछले 4 साल से मुझे कैसा लग रहा है.
यार मेरे को यार सैड बात ये है, मेरे को लास्ट 4 साल से ही slot 1 मिल रहा है. तो अब आई एम होपिंग कि law of averages works out just like it worked out for you. Okay. That's it. See ya.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Guys, all the best.